Entitled mum lets her devil spawn roll around having a tantrum in a parking lot where cars are driving. I just witnessed the worst example of parenting ever. There was a kid lying in the parking lot, right where cars drive. He was clearly having a meltdown. The mother was trying to bribe him to get up and go to the car with phones. I was trying to drive and he was rolling around on the floor. I stayed there waiting for her to pick up the damn kid and put him in the car. She was all, "Come on sweetie, get up," trying to convince this brat to get up off the wet cold ground and waddle to his car, not picking him up. She actually asked me what I want her to do. There was so much attitude and no actual comprehension that she should move her kid. I said pick him up. A, he's in the way. B, he's in a dangerous spot. I waited almost 10 minutes to drive. I couldn't go anywhere because of the layout of the parking lot. She and another woman kept trying to wave me around. When he finally moved and I drove past the other woman, maybe a friend of hers, both kind of trashy, hit my car. My kids were shocked. Did I mention it was a medical building where other parents and kids were all walking by, or the elderly people that couldn't get out because he was taking up an entire row? Entitled mother is back. Okay, the Karen has returned. She lives in the same town as me, sadly, and I have another encounter with a ferocious EM. I was in town with my friend after school and we went to get a milkshake. Effie's friend, this is short but still why. At the milkshake place, entitled mother and entitled kid walk in. Oh no, it's that brat that still owes me a chocolate bar. What? She stole my chocolate bar and claimed it was hers. Please arrest her. She didn't. Actually, she told me about the incident a few days ago. Stop trying to get sympathy and attention. It's stupid. Go away, please. Entitled mother storms out of the shop. Scout gets bullied, but Scout gets in trouble for reporting them. This is my friend's story. My friend used to be in a different Scout troop than he is now. He hated this troop but left because of this incident. Essentially, every meeting, George would be bullied by Entitled Kid, constantly harassed and made fun of. Unfortunately, Entitled Kid's parents were the head of the punishment in the troop. When George reported it to the Scoutmaster, with tons of footage, voice recording and witnesses, the entitled parents decided to give George a 2-month suspension instead of Entitled Kid, just because he was their son. Even though it was clear that Entitled Kid had been bullying him. How messed up is it? How messed up is that anyway? Scoutmaster talked one-on-one with George about it, even though that's only supposed to happen for Scoutmaster conferences, about how George bullied Entitled Kid. This event was witnessed by Friend and was the last straw for Friend. Friend joined the other troop, which is actually a fair troop. Entitled parent abused his kid at tech store. Okay, so let's start the story from the beginning. This happened yesterday, and I'll tag who was with me. So my girlfriend, her mum, her brother and I went shopping for our school books. My girlfriend needed a special kind of music player, as music was one of her electives. We went to Officeworks. The moment we enter, I see a little girl running around and her mother chasing her. She was absolutely screaming at her child, louder than everything else in the store. Even the employees stopped and stared. If you don't start behaving soon, I'm going to beat your fucking ass. Me and were kind of taken aback. The child was only 4 to 5 age-wise, and using the kind of tone with such a harsh threat is extremely harsh for such a young child. The story does not end there, however. Me and walked over to the refreshments they were offering and could hear Karen once again yelling at her child. She also had a kid around 7 to 8 male. Go away, you annoying buttheads. Have been awful all day, and I will swear to God, go play with the pens now. The staff members rolled their eyes, and I felt so sorry for them, considering they probably have to deal with this all the time. The Karen yelled for a staff member to assist, but I didn't hear the rest of what she said. And now here's where it gets worse. A second woman, also sporting the Karen haircut, walked in with a broken piece of technology. I don't remember what, and rushed over to a staff member who was obviously busy, and screamed at him. This is broken. It won't work, and I expect to be compensated. The staff member apologised and he said he'll see what he can do. Her only response was a loud grunt and a fine, but make it quick. I have places to be. Entitled mum thinks no one should be better than her daughter. English is not my first language, but I was always pretty good at it from a very young age. Mostly because I like watching Cartoon Network. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't dubbed. I should probably clarify that I grew up in Moldova. It's a small Eastern European country, so for my whole life I've never done English homework assignments at home. Just because they were too easy for me, so I just did them in class and still got higher grades. So we had this girl in our class, you know, the typical excellent pupil and teacher's pet, the one who cried every time she got less than a perfect grade. Probably her insane mother's faults, actually. Obviously she was beating me in every class except English. So one day her mother comes to school and in the middle of the lesson opens the door and asks for me. It was in 6th grade, so I was 10 or 11. I go outside to speak to her. She proceeds very calmly, explaining to me that it's unfair that her daughter works so hard to be the best at everything, and still can't be better than me in English. I tried to explain to her that that's a weird thing to say, and that I can't help it, that I know the language better than her, and that frankly, it's not my problem, and also that I'm a child, and this situation is very uncomfortable. Still, she insisted that I dumb it down so that her daughter would feel superior. This happened 17 years ago, and I still remember it like it was yesterday, and I'm so proud that I managed to stand my ground in front of that crazy lady. Hey, thanks for watching to the end. If you want to leave a comment, go ahead. I always see them. I always enjoy engaging with them. You can subscribe if you want, if you choose to. No, there's no pressure to. Or you can click one of the other videos on the screen now. Or you may even have a favourite subreddit that you'd like covered.